Well, the United Nations Children's Agency, UNICEF, says South Sudan is home to the highest proportion of out-of-school children, with more than half of primary and lower secondary age school children not getting education. Niger is a close second with 47% unable to attend school, followed by Sudan and Afghanistan. According to UNICEF, nearly 24 million children in 22 countries have no access to schools. VOA's Zlatica Hoke has more.
Children in major refugee camps in South Sudan are lucky to get some education, even if it is in makeshift schools or out in the open. One of the largest is Minkaman in the Central Lakes State.
We are going on well with the teaching, but there are many challenges facing us in the teaching field. First of all, teachers are not enough, and the number of people is actually high.
But in South Sudan, 51% of primary and lower secondary school-aged children get no classes at all. UNICEF says the difficulty of collecting data in war zones means the situation could be even worse. Violence following South Sudan's 2011 independence has forced 500,000 people to flee their homes, often to remote places far from civilization. Humanitarian agencies are working to create makeshift schools in refugee camps, but lack funds to provide enough for all who need it. Years of deadly sectarian fighting has discouraged donors.
As you know now, the donors are less forthcoming than before because they are not very pleased with events that have taken place.
And traditionally, only 2% of humanitarian aid is allotted to emergency education. Most of the aid funds are used to provide the essentials for survival: food, shelter, and healthcare. UN officials say that with so many children spending their youth in refugee camps, this has to change.
We are planning to create a humanitarian platform for education in emergencies when we come to the World Humanitarian Summit in Istanbul in the spring of this year.
UNICEF says that in countries going through long periods of instability and violence, schools are more than a place of learning. The agency is working to provide safe environments for children to play as well as learn and give them hope for the future. Zlatica Hoke, VOA News, Washington.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Find me on Twitter at VOA Vince McCory.